So welcome back to episode 2 of Echo Disrupted. This is the mashup where we talk about crazy little social media trends, things that's happening, not so seriousness.
The
So
light work. The light
the
work.
light work. Yeah, exactly. If you just want to sit back and get a kiki.
What's up? It's Echo Disrupting, we're vibing tonight. Trending topics in the spotlight, breaking down what's right. With smooth grooves and R&B, feel we bring the heat. Critical thought for everyday life, we're keeping it real.
Jump in with your
Let's
bestie.
let's talk. No, let's talk about my man Joe Budden wanting to go what is skinny dipping with no pool. Um,
Yeah.
um,
Oof.
I'll start this off.
Okay.
The unfortunate part, and again, maybe call me a goody two shoes if you want to. But for some reason, these dudes get $1 or $2 in their pocket. And the first thing they want to do is just go. Let me go experiment with something that's gonna put me in a bad situation. It's gonna put me in a bad situation. Um, and now I gotta sit here and go explain it. Yo, bro, don't you have people that love you? Like, like, don't you have people that care about you? Like, I don't even care what you experiment with, right? Don't you have people that can be like, yo, check this out, man. You ain't we can't let you go nowhere wearing that attire. What attire? No attire.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's I the level of recklessness, right?
So you're
Because it
not
was
believing that he was sleepwalking in the
girlfriend, if you don't
in
get
the
out of here.
I'm just saying because apparently he said it in other episodes that he has this sleepwalking condition.
Is it diagnosed?
I don't know.
There you go. Right. So up until you show me evidence that it's diagnosed, we ain't having that convo. Right. He's also said that he has a habit of doing drugs. Right. So he's got that kind of history. It's look, God bless him. Right. The only thing is, from my understanding, and from this is my very little understanding, is the concern that there is here is that I think there might have been a minor that saw him naked, so they're trying to make
Yeah,
him out to be a perv, right?
right.
So hopefully he has really good lawyers that can
Yeah,
get
he
him
does.
out of this. Okay, well, yeah, but again, it's we are in a such a crazy time where I know more about these people than I want to know, honestly. Right? I don't want to know this about Joe Budden, right? Do you still rap? No. Oh, you got a podcast. Okay, how's that going? Great. I'll listen to you sometimes. That's it. Solo, single, no more, no less. Right? I don't. Thanks, sir. Oh wow, he has a sleeping. He got a sleepwalking problem. Wow, that's interesting. On to the next.
Yeah, I think that whole thing spiraled into a bunch of things. You know, the police chief put out a press release about it, and his lawyer got involved. The last thing I know from mine, and I don't tune into his podcast, but they, since this event happened, they had to leave the condo where they normally film and go back to the old studio, and they filmed an episode there, and then there was like a slight break. But now, of the latest, post all of this stuff, he's back at the regular condo where they normally film, and he did say something about it. I just was not so inclined to really want to even tune in about it, but I think because mentally for me, I just feel like my jaded sense is that he cut some checks,
Oh, no
and
question. That's the way it goes.
everybody got paid. You know, it could, and this is my opinion only, is that everybody got paid. The Police Benevolence Association got a check. You know, the HOA got a little extra something, and they're going, you know, everybody's going to be all right.
Mm-hmm.
So
This is the way it goes. No question.
So because of that, you know, in fairness, I didn't listen to what he had to say to give him to give this a true, full-rounded explanation. So I'll take that I didn't listen to it. That this is just my opinion without listening to all of it, which is to me not the best. But hey, you know, I'm not Joe Budden and his you know different things are not of all that much interest. I think it was when it first happened, I was like, wait, what? Like, it just seemed too much stuff, too crazy, too many things happening, and just wanted to wait for it to shake out. And then I think it has just kind of shaked out in the last couple of days. And I just haven't had a chance to take a look at it.
Listen, at the end of the day, it is shenanigans, right? It is shenanigans. It's people living recklessly, want to live rock star lifestyles, right? I get it. The only problem is, right? You play stupid games, and guess what you end up getting? Stupid prizes, right? Listen, I don't know how old Joe Budden is.
Right? I think he's like probably 45, 46, okay. Maybe.
Well, hopefully whatever demons you fight, and hopefully you can put those. Hopefully the angels win and demons lose, because bro, you can't have too many of these instances going forward.
I do know the Tin Hat contingent. He's 44. The Tin Hat conspiracy contingent got him linked up with the diddler, and you know how that go. It's less than 6 degrees of separation with him and anybody in the diddler. So anytime people start tweaking out here, they're like, "Uh-oh, something's about to really happen." You know, anytime anyone associated with it is, acting crazy. I think now the latest person they got their eyes on is MJB. So she's going to be the next one on the roster.
In what regard?
There's been so much speculation.
What'd she do wrong?
The Tin Hat Crew has her being in that Diddy realm. And it was this guy that came out like a few years ago, Danny Boy, who he said that she took advantage of him and blah, blah, blah. And now they're alleging that she was the other person in the room in this latest lawsuit. Look, the Tin Hats are tinning. Reynolds Wrap, I need to get his stock in Reynolds Wrap at this point, because the way these hats are coming up and to me, as I said, there's a lot of things that come out that are, hypothesis, distractions, people saying things. And the last thing I want to be is like I'm Jaguar Wright or somebody on talking some crazy talk. So I'm just saying this is the Tin Hats tinning.
Danny Boy is as credible as an $8 bill. And if that boy was smart, if Mary gave him a piece, if he was smart, he'd have held on to it and kept his mouth shut, with hopes that she'd come back around and give him some more. But from my understanding, that's not how he gets down these days. He has different preferences, so which would probably justify him spouting off at the mouth the way that he is.
Yeah, this was years ago he said it, but I think they're bringing it back up.
This is where we. I will tell you, I'm okay with some tea, but it's got to be cool tea, good tea, funny tea, right? Juicy tea.
Right.
Ain't even juicy. It's like y'all lack imagination. Who's putting this stuff? Who's putting this stuff together for y'all? Like, come on, I think find something else to have a conspiracy theory about.
Yeah, it is no longer like just the key of it all. Everything takes like a morbid turn, or some like crazy turn where you're just like, this is too much. This is a lot.
This is good enough. Your thoughts on? So funny, you put me on to Elliot Wilson. I had heard Elliot Wilson's name kind of buzzing, didn't know what it was. Then kind of did some research, and I'm trying to figure out what his end goal is. He's trying to revive R&B, right? He's trying to keep, he's trying to keep the media, trying to keep the journalists relevant, and trying to keep old school media alive. But bro, you might as well be swimming upstream at Niagara Falls, because bro, again, going back to the point we made in the previous episode, the dumbification of America is has so many ancillary victims, right? There's so many people catching strays, so many industries that are going to be impacted by that, right? Because nobody wants to sit here and be educated, right? The audience that you're talking to can't contextualize anything, has no idea what you're talking about. Elliot, you're an educated dude with tons of experience in a genre or in a vertical that is slowly dying. It's admirable that you're making a valiant attempt to try to keep yourself relevant and to keep your industry alive, such that those accolades would still be viewed as viable. But you're speaking to a bunch of stupid people who have no idea what you're talking about, and who the only thing that they're going to be, the only conclusion that they can draw is that you're a hater. Right? If you say anything to them that doesn't align with what their beliefs are, the only conclusion that they can draw is you're a hater, no matter how much of an explanation, viable or otherwise, that you provide for them. So again, you're swimming upstream, my friend. Good luck.
Yeah, I think also it's a sign of the times, in terms of, to your point, that everybody is a journalist or a content creator or whatever the case is, and there's a recycling of information and news. And I think it's easy to kind of take a shot. And I don't know, he was on, when he did come up with his latest trending thought, he was on Rory and Mal's podcast, and he took some shots at Cameron, sorry. And I think probably the segment that I saw of it, my takeaway was he seemed a little tipsy. That's just my observation. But I think that's someone, because he's like, age contemporary. He's like 53 years old. So he's used to being part of the gatekeepers, right? And when we grew up, there was a gate. If you wanted, there was no, you could not get into anything unless you knew somebody, and that was it. If you needed to get a job, somebody had to know somebody, and
you had to get the hookup.
And I think for him being on the other side of that gate and being that gatekeeper, he's probably not really calculating what that means now, right? Nobody cares. Like
at all.
Because there's no more gate. This is just a wide yard open to everybody. Get in how you fit in and make it happen, period. And on top of that, the new way of getting information, entertainment, connection is paying a big bag, and probably paying a bigger bag than what you was getting back in the day. So whereas you had more clout because you were around all of these different, entertainers across the board, and you had access. Now it's not like that. Now these folks that you had access to are coming to these podcasts, and they're coming there to get relevance, because that's where it is. Like, you got people going to Kai Cenat. I'm not knocking homie, but that's where it is now. He had Nicki Minaj. And who's getting her? You know what I mean? So I'm just saying that there's it's different. The landscape is different now. And I felt, listening to him, I just felt like he's having a hard time grasping that that's what it is. I guess he's somewhat getting it because he's on Rory and Mal, and he's trying to get the word out. And then if you say something about Cam, he's going to say something back. And then that gets you into his sphere, where they have, what, last time I looked, they had over like 800 some odd million, no, 1,000, sorry, not million, 1,000 subs on the Cam and Mace come and talk to me type of thing. So they, you know what I mean? And anytime he says something, it goes viral. And then, now he's, they got that 50 Cent thing going with Jim Jones, which is a whole other catastrophe. But it's a different landscape, and people are now, that barrier to connection is no longer like you got to write a fan letter to somebody. You can literally, drop in the DMs and you have connection, and people feel connected to people because they see them on socials and they have more quote unquote access, for whatever that means. So I just saw it as somebody that is not coming to grips with the way the landscape is now.
His new circumstances. I agree with you. It's to your point, right, about how instantaneous everything is now, and all the previous barriers for entry no longer exist.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, right, some guys have been able to parlay their way into other genres or other revenue streams. Let's use Leo Cohen and Kevin Lyles as examples, right? Who were able to go over there and start things up at YouTube or 300 Entertainment, whatever they call themselves, right? And be able to go out there and create that lane. And Kevin Lyles will step down, like, all right, this looks like this has run its course. It's time to get up out of here, right? I made my money, we could bounce.
The Tin Hats will say something different about that too. But go ahead.
The Tin Hats will tin hat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's when they are able to confirm, when the Tin Hats are able to confirm for me that LL Cool J has been drinking out of the fountain of youth, up until then, I don't want to talk to them.
I think he's going to say something else.
Nah, let's keep this PG.
Right.
Keep this PG. But yeah, it's poor Elliot, right? If the goal was to put your name to start a fight with one of the big dogs in order to get your name out there, God bless you. My question becomes, what's your exit strategy? What's the next move? Right? Again, I'll be the first to admit I'm not hip to a lot of what these guys are doing. They don't make any sense to me at all. Right? When the idea of, okay, I'm gonna do something just to be relevant. You hear these who talk about, I want to promote my brand. It's like, what exactly do you do? It's like yeah, I'm out here to, we out here, protecting our brand or promoting our brand. Like, what brand? What? Like, other than we out here selling T-shirts for what?
Because Gary Vee said so.
But I don't know, because I don't understand the whole how everything goes. Right? To me, we are at the point where talent is no longer relevant. Right? Capabilities are no longer relevant. Right? Actual competence is no longer relevant. People are more interested in the story. People are more interested in what it looks like and what it feels like. I want to know about this dude. Why? Like, what does he do? Right? Like, I was listening to, and there might have been a Rory amount where Elliot was making his case. It's like, these artists don't even want to be interviewed anymore, right? They're simply, they don't want to deal with the media. It's like, you got to understand something. A lot of these people don't have any, and I'm not trying to sound elitist, but a lot of these people aren't educated, right? They don't understand certain dynamics of the relationship between them and their audience, right? These guys are just trying to find a way to get paid, right? They're not musicians. I was listening to this young lady, SZA, yesterday, right? I was in the car listening to her. Got nothing against her. Right?
30 for 30 is my song now.
I got nothing against the young lady, but she can't sing worth a damn, right?
Chat.
You listen to these. It's like, I was listening to. Funny enough, I was listening to an old school Mary J. Blige and Casey. What's his name? Casey Bailey song from back in the 90s,
mm-hmm.
right? Produced by Devontae, I'm sure. Loving You Is All I Want to Do, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mary can't sing worth a damn, right?
Oh yeah,
Mary's voice sound like cardboard, right? And I'm a Mary, to a degree, a Mary fan, right? But we've now gotten to, and if you can trace it back, it's probably Puff and them who's really kind of started this snowball effect, right? Where it's like, yeah, we're just gonna forget about whether these people could actually blow it, whether they can sing or not, whether they actually are talented. I was listening to what you call that, 112. Slim can't sing worth a damn. So I'm like, this dude is out here squealing, right?
All shots fired.
Like I'm not. It ain't personal, but that nigga can't sing. So
all is straight.
So, but we're in this space now because I'm like, okay, for me, I'm a wide guy. How do we get here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're looking at these people who can't. They are stars because somebody said they're stars, right? My day is your day, and your day is my day. I'm like, if this chick if I was in the same room with SZA, I'd throw something at her if she was singing, because her voice is aggravating. But if you package it properly, right, and you put everything around it, it feels like a great product. And when you boil it down to its essence, like, what exactly is here? So God bless Elliot for trying to hold on. If he were a personal friend of mine, I'd be like, bro, I hope you well invested and you liquid, but why are you trying to hold on to this? Like,
you like just get a dark season and call it.
It's homie, like, bro, like, you've had a great career. I hope your money's well invested. Go find something else to do, man. Like, because quite honestly, you're trying to stay relevant in something that's sinking anyway, right? It's that expedience that we're talking about, right? That ability to be able to connect with an artist, to be able to connect with to be able to monetize themselves that quickly, right? You come out with one song. How many one-hit wonders do we have these days? These guys, are they even?
Oh, yeah.
Have mercy, right? One of the least talented people I've ever seen on television, right? I have no idea what this chick does, right? That's not rapping, right? What she does ain't rapping, right? Rhythmic American poetry, that's rap. There's nothing rhythmic about what she's talking about, and there's nothing poetic. Is she American? I don't know.
I think she's biracial.
Okay, well, she got the American part right. So, but yeah, this is where we are. So I would challenge. I mean, if I were Elliot in Elliot's friend circle, I'd be like, bro, what are you trying to hold on to? Like, homie, go carve out a new lane, because what you're trying to hold on to is essentially sand. It's 10 years ago. If anybody would have told you that the way the music industry is right now, it would have been this way, you would have told them, nah, you crazy, right? What you think is going to look like 10 years from now? With the advent of AI and all the other ways to speed up the process, what you think is going to look like, 10 years from then? What are you trying to hold on to? Now, it's, again, maybe I just maybe I'm just too practical. Tis what it is. But I do want to get on to the next subject matter, which is a favorite of mine. Drum roll, please.
You can rock out with your peoples.
The Fat Joe, FBA, Math Hoffa, Lord Jamar, entanglement.
Oh my goodness.
Do you want to go first?
You can go, because that was painful.
Here's the one thing ain't nobody looking at. Mm-hmm. They all a bunch of dumb niggas. Every one of them.
It had a couple of chuckles in it.
Here's my honest opinion, right? I'll keep it serious. FBA is a fan club. Foundational Black Americans is a Tariq Nasheed fan club.
Or Fat Joe call it Foundational Black Authority.
Authority, right?
Listen, mixing up. Anyway, listen,
you got to give Fat Joe's the storyteller of all storytellers. Details and facts do not matter, and they don't apply. Right? That's for people who care about details. Or care about facts. That's not him, right? But I remember when hip hop first started, right? We would see breakdancing crews, rappers, on TV and they're carving out their spaces, American Bandstand, whatever video shows have been created. There's blacks and Puerto Ricans all over it. Right? There's blacks and Puerto Ricans everywhere. They were part of the gangs back in the days up in the Bronx, and I'm sure I don't know if in Harlem as well. But
Yeah,
they
we
all
had
were.
them too.
They were mixed and mingled amongst each
The
other.
ball busters and all that stuff. Yeah.
In Brooklyn, everybody was mixed and matched. It's funny, we joke around like we didn't even know what a Dominican was till fairly recently, right? We thought everybody of that complexion or every dark skinned colored person that spoke Spanish was a Puerto Rican back in the day.
Oh, really?
Because in Brooklyn, everybody was kind of mixed up. We didn't know. Panamanians kind of came around later, right? We started to pick up on Panamanians a little bit later on, right? Because we remember the waves of different people that came in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we weren't separating ourselves, right? But we were doing all of that stuff. We were breakdancing, we were rapping. None of that stuff was. Nobody ever was saying who's the creator of it.
Mm-hmm.
The three pillars of hip hop, at least as they're recorded, right? At least where the who has been given credit for being the pioneers of hip hop. Grandmaster Flash, Africa Bambaataa, Kool Herc, right? All three of them dudes have of West Indian backgrounds. Right, Kool Herc being Jamaican. I forgot Bambaataa was from, and I believe Grandmaster Flash might be Trinidadian.
Or one of the two, Trinidad or Bahamian. One, I don't know, but yeah, go ahead.
Right. But again, that was never an issue. Nobody ever even thought about it. Right? Who cared? Now, this Tariq Nasheed dude comes across, and all of a sudden he starts talking out the side of his mouth about, Puerto Ricans ain't had nothing to do with it. This is all African American. Like, fam, first and foremost, who cares? Right? Okay, let's just say hypothetically.
Barbados,
okay. Hypothetically, what you're saying is accurate. Aren't we all African? Like, aren't we all from the same continent? Why you dudes who are complaining about who got off the bus first, right? The guy who got off the bus first or last is better than if you got off the bus, in Manhattan and I got off in Queens, that makes you better than me. It's like, fam, who talks about this stuff?
I think because he did that documentary.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I'm familiar with Tariq Nasheed's foolishness, right? Don't forget.
And reparations, I think.
Tariq Nasheed's a joke, right? He's an I don't think he's even educated, right? He might be semi-educated. Look up Mink Slide. Do you know he was?
Oh yeah, I remember. Right? Yeah, because I know the videos too.
Again, right? This dude is basically like the only thing I haven't seen him do is selling no-knee juice. Right, that's the only thing I ain't see yet. Right, I wonder if he has that. What's the diet one? What's the diet thing that people were selling for?
Oh, the teas?
No, something Life, Herbal Life, right?
Oh,
yeah. So no need juice and Herbal Life. I'm sure he sold one of those at one point, right? We are attracted. Unfortunately, a lot of us are attracted to the bright and the shiny, right? Fat Joe has been is part of Digging in the Crates, right? It was a black crew of hip hop crew, right? Comprised of some notable rappers, right? AG and Showtime and AG, right? What's his name? Oh man, what's my man's name? Oh wow, famous rapper too. The DJ and producer, Diamond D. What's my man's? Oh man, there's two other dudes who are notable rappers, and I can't believe I can't. Lord Finesse. Again, these are all part of his crew. These are people that he's down with. You saying this dude's a racist when he grew up in the Bronx? He grew up in the Bronx, and his crew's black.
Yeah, Forest Project, yeah.
Right out there, Puerto Ricans do say nigga because they're around niggas. Everybody grew up together, right? It just is what it is. Y'all are coming from the outside. By the way, y'all from the West Coast. What y'all niggas know about anything, by the way, right? Niggas ain't got no style. Y'all ain't got no class. Like, bro, y'all shooting at each other over blocks. If you don't get out of here, sitting here lifting weights and doing hand signs, that's how y'all communicate with each other, shooting at each other at the swap meet. You don't go somewhere non-style having ass. So the thing for me is larger issue from my perspective is who talks about this? I just finished watching a documentary. This is a guilty pleasure. A documentary on yacht rock music and its origins, right? And how essentially these guys are saying, these guys, Steely Dan, not the Eagles, Steely Dan, the Doobie Brothers, Toto, all these old rock groups, right? Ambrosia took their influence from black musicians, from Stevie Wonder, from Earth, Wind and Fire, from Ray Charles. They took their influence and essentially created a genre of their own. These people ain't fighting over who created this and who created that. It's dumb niggas with nothing to do that get caught up in that foolishness, right? So Lord Jamar is a dumb nigga who smoked too much, right? Always saying some foolishness about nothing. Shut your dumb ass up, non-rapping ass nigga. The worst rapper.
I think that's what hurt. That's what hurt when Fat Joe made that comment.
Mind you, I'm not a Fat Joe fan like that. I think Fat Joe's half whack when he raps. I don't remember one notable thing like a lyric. I'm not talking
Lean
about
back.
No,
I know what you mean.
That's the chorus.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about the actual lyrics, right? It's like you know, where is his, you know, I came through the door. I said it before. He ain't got none of those, right? So it's the problem is we have devolved into doing foolishness. People saying, oh, well, Math should have came in. Math don't know a goddamn thing about a goddamn thing. What you think Math's going to tell Fat Joe? Right? Y'all don't know stupid people when you see them? like what exactly is Math going to say to anybody about anything? Oh, nah, he should have stood up. He should have let him say nigga. Bro, he from around the way. This is a round the way conversation. You just happen to be hearing it. Right? Puerto Ricans are essentially light-skinned black people who speak another language as far as anybody who grew up with them knows. We ain't never had no problem with no Puerto Ricans. Niggas live right next door, live right upstairs, live right below us, right? Literally, when you out there hustling, they out there hustling with you. Like, what are we talking about? Right? Your father helps them. Your father helps their father fix their car and vice versa. Right? You help their grandmothers, you help their tias bring their groceries upstairs. Like, what are we even talking about? Right, but again, you got some uneducated, mealy mouth, sideways niggas who aren't talented. By the way, this is the thing bothers me. This is what bothers me the most. It's always the non-talented, and the undereducated and non-intellectuals that always want to turn these things into a battle. Because the guys who know. When the last time you heard Kool Herc talking about who started hip hop? When was the last time you heard another one who's West Indian, by the way? Red Alert and from Antigua, right? When last time you heard him talking about his impact on hip hop? It's only the dumb niggas who ain't got nothing to do who talk like that. I digress.
I know that whole crew is gonna get you. I mean, I was just sitting back for the chuckles because I knew it was gonna be something as soon as I heard Fat Joe say that broke niggas and he took that shot at Lord Jamar. I was like, oh, where's the popcorn? And then that went on for a minute.
But it cost him. He's not hosting the BT Awards anymore. That's a good look.
Did he step down or did they take him off?
Well, he said he resigned. We know how that go.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, I think he also has a show on one of these channels. I forgot which one. So he probably is like, let me not even engage in all this and stay focused on that next run of that. And honestly, I could do without hearing about him, to be honest with you. I'm good. I'm good. I'm real good on that. Lord Jamar, always good on not hearing from him. So I'm glad that kind of died down too.
This dude is he's like a dying animal squealing, trying to draw attention to himself. He he had a podcast where he had Godfrey on and Rod Digger, and then there was one because they bounced on him. Because Lord Jamar's
Oh,
type
right,
of
that's right. I remember when Rod Digger was on. Yeah.
That's beneath.
I didn't tune in. I just remember what you're saying. And I know Godfrey has his own thing. You know what I do respect out of that whole dust up and probably didn't get that much? Sadat X.
What did he say?
Dude was at work. He works in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yo, hey, I'm good. I'm doing me. You know, he gets in early, early in the morning, gets off at, 2, 3 o'clock, do him, and that's it. And I was
minding his business.
Minding his business. I'll
Ain't
tell you another story offline. Yeah. But yeah. And out of all of that, I was like, that's what's up. Don't get no need to jump into this and make this an extra chapter that we all don't need right now. Good on you. So that was my all right, we good here. And I left it alone. But your boy Math is always around.
Before we jump to that next one, finishing the Lord Jamar thing, he invites KRS-One, Fat Joe, and some others to a forum to talk about the contributions of others to.
Oh, after all of this?
No, before. Actually, before that.
Oh, okay.
Dudes ain't pay him no attention, right? Like, bro, if you don't get out of here, I'm not. Listen, if you want me to pump some oxygen into your career, find another way. We're not going to do that, right, bro? Lord Jamar, do you really want to have an intellectual tete-to-tete with KRS-One? Is that really what you want to do, Lord Jamar?
Probably.
That's not what you want to do. No, you don't. That's not.
I mean, he would because it would get views, so he would. He has a show, and that's what you clicks and eyes. That's what it takes.
The problem is, again, the smart people ignored him. The smart people like, yo, bro, nah, right? I saw KRS give an example of the origins of hip hop the other day. He's like, everything from the beginning of man, being able to make sound with your voice, to be able to improvise music with the sounds of your body is hip hop. Lord Jamar ain't having that conversation. That's not what we talking about. Bro, go smoke your weed. Go smoke as much weed as you want to. Go try to revive your career. Go do your shows. Go try to pretend you were something you weren't. And we'll leave you alone. This foolishness that you're talking about is completely useless. And by the way, where's the conversation going? Where does it end? Because at the end of the day, the vehicle is still the Jew. Is still the Jews, right? The Jews still run it. They still run distribution. What you gonna do, bro? Right, you think Jimmy Iovine's having this conversation? You think so? Here's the question for you too. Here's the other part, right? Let's if we're gonna bear it out. As much as they call Leo Cohen a culture vulture, where is hip hop without Leo Cohen's influence? Where is hip hop without Debbie Harry's influence? Right, Debbie Harry, who brought Fat Five Freddy into that, yeah, back in the days, right? Who helped mainstream hip hop. Bro, y'all are using somebody else's vehicle. You're transporting your product in somebody else's vehicle and now trying to talk about, it's our car. Don't make people remind you, right? Even when Dame Dash is calling Leo Cohen a culture vulture. Bro, what would hip hop be without Leo Cohen? Check the books. Again, I'm not a fan of either one of these dudes. I don't have to be. The facts say everything they need to. But I'm done pontificating. Now back to math. You can lead. Please lead off on this.
Yeah. So not only did he just have that Fat Joe FBA, I don't know. I guess every week he has something else, but apparently, gosh, why am I drawing a blank? Angela Yee. Mm-hmm. She has her podcast, Lip Service, and she had Heineken and SO on there, and and I guess the interview was going fine and well, and apparently way back behind the scenes was Math in the background, and SO saw him, and then he comes up, sits on the couch, and they start to go in. And the talk is did Angela Yee set that up during the interview? She said she didn't know all of this stuff was going on amongst them. Okay. I'm gonna throw cap on that, but hey, but she didn't know that they had so much angst amongst all, between Heineken, SO, and Math. And there's been some wild takes on people saying things about Angela Yee. But fast forward to the topic at hand, it starts a discussion of what happened about the breakup and why, they departed, my expert opinion, and stuff got heated,
I saw.
Yeah. So yeah. So I know. So that's just the backdrop to it. And, there's a lot to it, because I think like a lot of these podcasts, because I think, and we're definitely going to talk more about Math, but I think even Joe Budden is having that same scenario with how Rory and Mal left. And but basically the contention with Math and SO is that they had bag fuel, Heineken and SO, and Math is saying, hey, part of the deal, we supposed to rock on my expert opinion, make this thing pop. And, the whole deal was you not to start another podcast. And, so it goes. So I'll let you jump in, because again, they're on the outskirts of my interest. I just wanted to see the blow up. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm messy. I just wanted to see them go off. That was it.
So I was actually, funny enough, I was watching my expert opinion when they were on, and all of a sudden they were off. The common theme there is, though, Math is there's always somebody, he's always having conflict with the people that he works with. In watching his engagements and listening to him speak, he's not one of the sharpest knives in the drawer, but he's got a strong personality, right? He talks really tough, but he ain't that smart. He doesn't critically think out. He doesn't critically think things out. And the idea that when you're talking to grown men and telling grown men what grown men are going to do, that is not going to end well. And it appears as though that is his motto, where he effectively comes across as it's my way or the highway. And some guys are here for it and some guys ain't, right? SO's a pretty decent brand on his own. And doesn't necessarily need Math. As a matter of fact, in my opinion, I think now looking at it in retrospect, given his sphere of influence and his network, I think he was actually enhancing Math's brand and the show's brand with some of the people he was able to connect them with. I think one of the challenges, and I heard it in a couple of episodes, where I think SO wasn't feeling Math's music, and Math wasn't crazy about that. Where he was like, "Yo, I don't know why he let it come out." Where he's like, "Yeah, y'all, you don't even rock my music." Or I think he wanted him to ask Flex to play his music, and I think SO wasn't trying to do it. Right? There's an emotional immaturity when you're looking at 40-year-old men who are having these blow-ups all over TV, all over the internet. It's like, yo, fam. Like, there's a way for you guys that could have easily worked this situation out. But for you to say, okay, I want you to work with my team. So in this space, right, in the space that I would live in, it's called joint ventures, right? Where you have an existing business, but you and I partner to do whatever it is that we want to do. So when you want to go back to whatever your established business is, you do that, and that's fine. When you and I link up, we link up. A guy like Math doesn't get that. In his mind, you need to do what I say, or else my way is the highway. It's like, it just doesn't work. The internet there's so many different ways that you could leverage the internet, especially if you've got a backing of some sort, right? He's connected to Jim Jones. right? He was, from my understanding, SO was a manager for a couple of different artists. So he's got hooks into Dr. Dre. He's got hooks into
the
different
record
record
labels.
companies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like, bro, like honestly, he's a little further ahead than Math, right? And if on paper, why am I taking orders from a dude who I'm further along than? Right? For what? When I first started watching, I saw the dynamics. I couldn't tell what they were. It's like the dynamics are off, and I didn't know none of the players,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's like when you've got a really good chance to look at it, it's like, okay, this dude Math is he's a little overbearing, and the expectation that people are going to cower to you, especially people who are even at an even playing field, or maybe even further along than you are. You got to play the psychology game. It's like, okay, well, maybe, how do I leverage this guy, my relationship with this guy, in order for me to be able to do whatever it is that I need to do? And I don't think a guy like that lacks the sophistication needed to be able to make that play.
Yeah.
Right. But again, like you said, you here for the popcorn. I saw.
Yeah, it got messy. It got messy. So apparently, like when he left, allegedly, SO liked all of Math Hoffa's wife's pictures on IG. All sorts of shenanigans started.
So
stuff was. So there's a lot.
What does that mean? Tell me. Liking her picture means.
I think it's just to get under his skin. Like that to me is one of the ultimates from a social media perspective. It's just like, I don't know if there was some kind of previous connection, whatever it is, but it was enough to probably, get Math in his feels for sure. So
I like it. I don't know what that means, but maybe I should go on there. Like
it's provocative. I like it. It was that song somebody said. I forgot what song it was. Or was it a word from a movie? But yeah. So I'm loosely following it with popcorn. Until something else shiny comes along and I get interested in it. But otherwise, I'm always here for some shenanigans. Just for all of the unseriousness of it all, because there's a lot of it that happens.
And we need that for the mashup. So keep eating your popcorn. Keep bringing me into the loop.
Sometimes I know it's into what's happening in the world of the unserious, and sometimes you just need a break from all of the political nonsense too.
We're gonna need that. This, without a doubt, this is gonna be interesting going forward, without a doubt.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for Cam to come back from vacation and pick up on this Jim Jones and 50 Cent. That's where my next bag of popcorn is.
So what's interesting about that, right? What's interesting about that situation? I think there had to be residual bad blood from when they broke up back when Jim had his own group, Burt Gang. What's his name had Jewels had his own group, and it looked like Cam fell back from rapping. I think and that interview that he did this week or whatever it was with Justin. What's the guy's name? Justin LeBoy.
LeBoy. Mm-hmm.
Interesting name. But him, the way that they portrayed, the way that 50 is so strategic. To the naked eye and ear, you don't know what he's doing. You think he's just trolling, but he's manipulating people. Mm-hmm. So essentially him saying, basically, I knew Jim was weak and he was the weak link in your group, and essentially I used him for my purposes. Mm-hmm. And then not only feeling that way, but coming out here and saying it in public.
Yeah. Now he's individual one.
but telling Cam, essentially, I used one of your soldiers against you, and then Cam essentially signing off saying, yeah, that was strategic, right? At this point, I think Jim Jones is essentially saying, yo, I don't, he kind of cleared the air in that interview, because I wouldn't listen to the interview where he's like, I'm not his artist. We're business partners, and maybe you can educate me on what the dynamic is between Harlem dudes, because I heard Harlem dudes is essentially, it's not necessarily loyalty. These dudes are perpetual competition with one another, and even though they're on the same team, they're still competing against one another.
I could believe that for sure.
Yeah. Again, I don't know the dynamic. I don't know it well enough. I think that's just street dudes in general, right? But yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
And it's like it's been in now, like where they are now versus where you are now, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of that happening, because
honestly, I don't. So from the outside looking in, I don't think Jim is refined enough to be anywhere but doing what he's doing now. He's an enforcer, he's a goon, he's a businessman on his own, but he's not going to be able to parlay his way into where Mace is. And I don't know if Cam does it without Mace either, right? I don't think Cam has the chops and the panache to be able to pull that off without somebody of Mace's skill set and disposition. Right.
Yeah, you bring me back to that CNN interview Cam did.
There you go. Right? You put him alone, and he's a goof, right? Like when you bring that up, he doesn't speak well, he doesn't think well, right? He's a low level operator, right? He's carved a nice niche out for himself, but that being said, he's still a low level operator. So when you look at what happened within his camp, 50's like, yeah, we can exploit that. This dude, look at how you got your dudes on the street hungry while you out here doing other things. I can exploit that, right? Now to bring it back up and Cam not being able to see the wider picture and be like, first and foremost, why are you interviewing this dude? Right? It's an insult to what you built. Right, even if it's having a negative impact on the dudes you used to be cool with, you're still attacking the foundation you created. So now you're making more of a point. You're actually making Jim's point. You went back to hang out with Mace, which is, listen, that's your boy, is cool. I'm not telling you to have any animus towards him. However, what I am saying is this looks transactional, right? So your moves aren't strategic; they're all transactional. Yeah, you're making more money, but at the same time, I guess you're not a street nigga no more, because if you were, this would be a non-starter. But again, listen, that's another conversation for another day, because street nigga rules is just whatever's cool
right
in the moment.
Right.
I digress. We can I guess we can save that save it for the next episode after these guys have had a chance to go at one another when they get
right. Exactly. The next mashup for sure. It's always good to have a good popcorn kiki.
Yeah. Either way, great getting together, great having this chat.
Absolutely.
Let's keep it going in 2025.
Absolutely. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, drop down in the comments if there's any topics you want us to chat about, or if you have any comments that you want to share, just drop down in the comments and let us know. All right. Well, you take care. All right. Take care.